Today I want to talk about one of the most popular genres in the world of reading. Fantasy books. Where do you start? Where do you begin? I'm sure many of you have asked yourselves this question. Fantasy is a massive genre, and if you haven't read a single fantasy book in your life, it can be quite daunting and intimidating when approaching this world of fantasy. Do I read a standalone book? And in fact, where are the fantasy standalone books? Maybe I try a trilogy, or maybe I dive into that popular fantasy series everyone's talking about. But wait, this series is 7 books long, 10 books long, 14 books long. I don't have time for that. It's a lot of work. It can feel like a giant mountain that you have to climb. And this mountain's getting taller and taller and taller each and every day. It may seem like 100 fantasy books are released every single day. Where do I begin? Well, that's what this video is for. I want this video to help you take your first step into the wonderful and magical world of fantasy. First off, I'm not going to weigh you down with a multi-book series. No 7 to 10, 14 book fantasy series. That's a lot. I want to ease you in to this genre with standalone books. Stories that stand on their own 2 feet. They don't need other books to lean on. I'm also not recommending Chronicles of Narnia or Harry Potter. I just don't think they encapsulate what fantasy truly has to offer. I know, that may be a little hot take, but just my opinion. I have 3 standalone books I want to recommend that I believe will help you take your first steps on this journey into fantasy. Starting off with The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. No surprise to anyone. I think we all saw this coming. This book is a prime example of what adventure and what a journey feels like in a fantastical world. A little hobbit named Bilbo Baggins lives comfortably in his own home, eating food, writing, drinking, napping, has never stepped foot out of his own village. But then one day, he's disturbed by a wizard who pulls him out, pulls him away from the comforts of his own life, and pushes him into the world of adventure. There are dwarves and goblins and a magical ring and trolls and even a dragon. The Hobbit has everything when it comes to fantasy. I also have this beautiful illustrated hardcover edition. If that isn't the definition of adventure, I don't know what is. I highly recommend this, and it's great for children, it's great for adults, and whenever I have a child, you know I'm reading it to them. Another fantasy standalone book that I'm recommending is The Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. Now, I have another hardcover illustrated edition. Do not be intimidated by this size. This is 4 books and a few short stories, all within one tome. However, the book I'm recommending is this long, 132 pages long. It's a delightful tale of a young boy learning the ways of magic, going on a journey, learning, making mistakes, growing from them, fighting evil, light and shadow, and if you haven't noticed on the cover, there's a dragon. One thing I love about this book is the magic. The magic is very ancient. The magic is less about spells and wands and staffs. It's about names and the power of knowing the true names of things. Now, my last standalone recommendation, The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. One of my favorite books of all time, and without a doubt, one of the most beautiful books I've ever read in my life. Much like The Hobbit, this unicorn steps out of her home, out of her little forest and ventures out in search for her own kind. Because from her perspective, she is the last unicorn. Not a single word is wasted. Every word, every sentence is meticulously, intentionally crafted. It's lyrical, and it's poetic, and it's timeless. It's a book you can read again and again and again, and gain something from it every time. And it truly boggles my mind that no one talks about this book. It is underrated in every sense of the word. From the 1960s, it's overshadowed by everything else in fantasy. Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Brandon Sanderson. I will always recommend this book to anyone and everyone I meet. I know I mentioned that I won't recommend any trilogies, any series. However, this is a beginner's guide to fantasy. So if you like and enjoy these books, I think you should give these other books a try. Starting off with the ultimate classic, Lord of the Rings. This is the trilogy that laid the path and set the foundation for many other authors writing today. The thing about this trilogy is it's not the easiest. However, it's not the most difficult to read. It might be jarring, especially if you're coming from modern fantasy, like Brandon Sanderson or Joe Abercrombie, where their prose and writing style is very accessible and very quick-witted. These volumes continue off where The Hobbit left off. The Hobbit laid the foundation. This pushes you further into that world, pushes you into various journeys and various kingdoms and factions. The Lord of the Rings truly feels like history. Like this world actually existed way back when. After Lord of the Rings, what next? What else is there? So many authors and visionaries have come after the legendary J.R.R. Tolkien and have written and crafted their own worlds and characters. The Name of the Wind and Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. These books truly got me into reading, and they made me realize that fantasy doesn't have to be just Lord of the Rings, just Harry Potter. They don't have to be about armies and kingdoms, fighting dragons and saving the world from the Dark Lord. They can be intimate and tender, and not world-scoping, but just about one life. A single boy and his story, and how he grows up, and how he navigates life. By the way, this trilogy is titled The Kingkiller Chronicle, is infamously unfinished, without a third book. It's been 12, 15 years. I believe a series does not need an ending, does not need to be finished. A series is always worth reading, even if it doesn't have an ending. If you care about the characters, the world, the writing. Another trilogy that is very similar to Name of the Wind and Wise Man's Fear. The Farseer Trilogy by Robin Hobb. Got the Assassin's Apprentice, the Royal Assassin, and Assassin's Quest. Again, this is not some academic, world-spanning journey. This is about a boy, a bastard child, who has to navigate the complex spider web of politics and eventually learning to become an assassin. He also has to tread lightly with some of the magic that he is capable of. Much like Patrick Rothfuss, Robin Hobb understands characters, understands humanity, and the beauty of the mundane, the beauty of things not happening. There are moments in this trilogy where nothing happens. Truly, nothing happens. And it's still so beautiful. Now, to keep in mind, I have not finished the trilogy. I'm 100 pages into this book. I started it yesterday. And without spoiling anything, so far, it's just been conversation after conversation. It's like Downton Abbey. Conversation in this room. Okay, let's move to this room and talk. Let's talk with this person. Yet I am enthralled and lost and completely immersed in this world. If you love methodical and intimately paced stories, this is where it's at. The Farseer Trilogy by Robin Hobb. The Blacktongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman. This is a standalone book, sort of. The second book does come out in October, but I think that just kind of continues things on. This feels very self-contained. And the reason I recommend it is it's honestly unlike any of the other books I've talked about. If you've played Dungeons & Dragons, or Skyrim, or The Witcher 3, and you understand what chaotic adventure and danger feels like, this book encapsulates that. This book encapsulates what a Dungeons & Dragons adventure feels like at the table. Very similar to Name of the Wind and Assassin's Apprentice. The main character is telling you the story, telling you his story. This book feels like if you went into a medieval tavern, got a drink, and you sat down next to a guy, and he told you his life story. This is wonderfully written. It's witty, it's funny, it's dark, it's lighthearted, it's adventurous. So far, I've recommended standalones and trilogies. Now, I recommend a series. However, I don't recommend it. That doesn't make much sense. The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. 15 books long, 4.4 million words, 11,000 something pages, 2,000 named characters. I do not recommend this series to anyone. This is 1990s classical fantasy. Taking the idea of Lord of the Rings, taking the foundation of Tolkien, and making it his own. The first book is very much akin to The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. However, there is no ring. There is dark, there is light, there is a chosen one, there are armies, there are evil armies, there are women who have harnessed magic. I can go on and on. I have a video about Wheel of Time and why you should read it. So if you're interested in this series, interested in reading 15 books of a fantasy series, go check out that video. It's in the description. Tell you all about it. Because right now, I don't want to take much of your time. I want to get you reading fantasy books. I want you to get lost in the world of fantasy. Go read The Hobbit. Go read The Last Unicorn and Wizard of Earthsea. I just want to thank you for taking time out of your day to click on this video and hear my thoughts on the world of fantasy. I hope this video helped and inspired you, encouraged you in approaching the world of fantasy. Until next time.